mascot.
At the big stage, the small room was still the big stage, and now Lundy, Terence Crawford. It's going to work. Tap it up.
Nebraska seems to have traveled well here to the Big Apple.
Against the credible but heavy underdog, Hank Lundy. Both fighters start out in the conventional stance. Both have been known to switch to southpaw. With Lundy, it's just that he switches to southpaw. With Crawford, it's that he becomes an even more dynamic. He told us yesterday that he would switch southpaw as soon as Crawford did, but he hasn't done it yet, and he gets in a left hook. Does Hank Lundy.
It was a two-piece, Jim.
Opponents have been able to hit Crawford, and that was a hard left hook by Lundy. So Lundy gets in the first couple of hard punches. Delorme won the early rounds against Crawford. Gamboa won the early rounds against Crawford. And right now, Lundy is winning the first round against Crawford.
Lundy describes himself as an open class fighter. In the amateurs, you're a novice till you have a certain number of fights, then you're open class.
Good counterpunch by Crawford there. Lundy missed. Crawford caught him on the chin. Still in the southpaw stance is Terence Crawford. It's just the nature of his face. It's not that he's trying to be unusually dramatic. He understands that the role of the referee is not to be the star of the show, but sometimes you can't take your eyes off of it.
Lundy's had a good success here and there against Crawford. He's got to put something on him that wears him down as the fight progresses.
So you got to prove to Crawford that you can hurt him, because if you don't, he's going to stay right here in your face, and he's going to keep the pressure on until he forces you into a mistake. Then when he hits you with something hard, it's going to hurt.
Another good combination for Lundy after Crawford had caught him with a couple of shots. Clear. Round one winds up statistically even on the CompuBox count. Crawford was 14 out of 51, Lundy 13 out of 46, but those early hard shots from Lundy were the most effective punches in the round. And I'm not the scorer here, of course. Our unofficial scorer is Harold Letterman. We'll show you his card after the third round. You may have noticed there that Crawford has two trainers, Brian McIntyre and Esau Dieguez.
For a guy as skillful as Crawford, he likes to fight. And Lundy, it seems, wants to bring that out in him early in the fight to give himself better chances.
Well, that's the best chance for Lundy, to make it an ugly fight, make it a swapping fight, so that he can get a chance to land something big. And the fight goes, the better it is for Terence.
He made some of his fans nervous, clearly losing the early rounds to Delorme. Eventually, it became clear he was bringing Delorme in. He was reeling them in like a fish, giving him opportunities to land so that Delorme would in fact come forward with some...
Yeah, but Delorme is a skillful athlete who happens to box. Lundy is a fighter. And there's a difference.
Yeah, you can look at him now and tell he's a much smaller guy. He's not really the bigger guy here. He probably should still be campaigning at 135, but he's the type of guy that if nobody else will fight Crawford, he'll take it.
He already shook his head no, which means, of course, yes. He got caught with a good shot, Lundy did. He says he has a trap set for Crawford when Crawford's in.
And we haven't seen anything else since then.
That's right.
Doing that to hide the left hand.
He's doing it to hide the left hand, Jim, but he's also doing it to try to get a range, use it as a range finder. Because once he gets the range, he'll know when he can attack like that with a straight left hand. But when you put it at his forehead, use that to gauge how far away he is or how much more ground you have to cover when you do go to attack with a big punch.
Holmes did the same thing. That's exactly right.
Not a heavy jab.
No, it's not a heavy jab at all. It's a range finder to keep me busy and to let me know how far away or how much more of a makeup I have to do to get to you.
That was a pretty heavy jab by Lundy.
Yeah, it was.
The quintessential heavy jab would be what we need to get fist down into Lemieux's mouth over and over with the jab.
Because he wasn't concerned about Lemieux countering the jab at all. These two guys are more experienced. You fight a guy from Philadelphia, you know he knows how to counter a jab. You come in there jabbing like an idiot.
See, a fight like this, they're both boxers. I mean, Lundy thinks of himself as a boxer, and Crawford's obviously a boxer.
but nevertheless, they don't like each other. You can feel it, and the fight is likely to break out again.
And I saw Terence just get really close with the straight left hand. He used the jab a couple times to get close, and he tried it, but Hank was smart enough to avoid the left hand.
That was such a smart move by Lundy, getting inside with a deep amateur background. He's just a real fighter.
Lundy, after finding that range, he finally figured out how to step in and land a good, powerful jab right there. He took a small jab from Crawford as well, but he
landed 27. Lundy landing only 9 out of 77 attempted. Crawford's already thrown 103 jabs in the fight. He's been very busy with the right hand since putting that stick in front after he switched to the southpaw stance. Harold, how do you have the fight through the first 3 rounds?
Okay, Jim, I got it 2 rounds to 1, 29-28, Terence Crawford. Lundy. I mean, he's doing a nice job, keeping good distance, landing that right jab constantly. Anyway, 2 rounds to 1, Terence Crawford.
Max, you agree with Harold's score?
Yep.
So we go to the 4th, and still Crawford stays in the southpaw stance. Tonight, he dispensed with the conventional stance 44 seconds into the fight and has handing southpaw ever since. That takes the element of surprise away, but more and more, fight by fight, it appears that this is the way he's most effective anyway.
oh, Hank's turned southpaw now.
So now they're both fighting in southpaw stances.
And here even though it's early, you start to get to a moment of truth. Lundy, through his, pluck and his timing and his competitiveness, made it a good fight for 3 rounds. We know Crawford starts slow. He analyzes his opponent, and then he starts to break them down.
Also, had given Crawford a chance to land something big.
Yeah, he may give Crawford a chance for the straight left hand or the overhand left, and it looks like Lundy's bleeding on the outside of his right eye.
Yep.
See that hook right there? Crawford lands.
Crawford's caliber, it gets to a point in the fight where they figure some things out, and all of a sudden the other guy's head starts to get flown this way and that way in 2 and 3 punch combinations. The sweat and blood starts to fly, and Crawford, I think, is starting to feel like it's entering that phase of the fight.
A good counter by Hank.
Hard left hand. Crawford showing you the beard, which he has shown us in several fights. He took some hellacious shots from Yuriorkis Gamboa before turning the fight around and knocking Gamboa out. Lundy, who likes to call himself Hammer and Hank, a little grin on his face as he comes out for round 5. First round, Lundy got the jump on Crawford early. Harold Letterman gave him the round. Since then, Harold has scored every round so far for Crawford. 3 out of 4.
Deal with that jab, and hopefully it'll open up something else for Crawford.
Another left hand landed for Lundy. Crawford came back with a 1-2 of his own.
Yeah, both fighters just Lundy. Lundy has to be careful because Crawford's going to set him up right there.
Big left hand and another left hand. Momentarily wobbles Lundy. Lundy trying to find his legs. Crawford looking for a way to land another shot. Left hand knocks Lundy into the ropes. Good body shot by Crawford.
Lundy let Crawford get a little too close, and you saw that coming.
Down goes Hank Lundy on a Crawford left hand. That's why fans love Steve Willis.
Hey, are you all right? Look at me. You all right? Come here.
He let Crawford get a little too close.
Hard left hand. Hard left hand again. Crawford wailing away at Lundy in the corner, and Willis is going to stop it. And just like that, class will tell. Terence Crawford has another big knockout victory.
And like the Delorme fight for Crawford, the fight's going along, it's going along, and
Close enough, so he threw a jab and set him up with a beautiful left hand right there down the pipe because he had gotten close enough to him with that rangefinder. That hurt him, that left hurt him again. There you see a straight left hand over the top. More of a push than the left hand that hurt him. The left hand that hurt him was a chin.
But a push will work when the fighter's legs are gone.
When he's hurt already like that, that push will get him down. And don't get it twisted, that push was pretty powerful too. It just wasn't as powerful as the one that set him up in the beginning and hurt him. Right hook hurt him. There was left that hurt him. He tried to fight back, but there was another left. There was another left that hurt him. He missed with a hook that really would have.
And still, WBO super lightweight champion of the world, Terence.